Hey everybody, welcome back, and if this is your first time here, welcome. So today I'm going to go over some updated thoughts on where I stand right now for sounds with my eKit. Should I use the V71 alone? Should I continue holding on to my TD-50X, and I've had that MIDI to my 71 or this past year? Should I sell off the 50X and just move deeper into using VSTs? Or should I hold on to the 50X and sort of do all of the above? So that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's get into it. So what is this video all about? Lately I've been doing a lot of sound exploration, and I have come across some tests and some different things that I've worked on that I thought it'd be interesting to share with you guys. Now, truth told, I've done some of these videos before. Today's not really a repeat of that. It's more of an evolution of kind of where my head is right now. And, I think the spirit that I operate under is always what if. I'm constantly thinking about my sound, my approach, gear. I'm always trying to get the best playability from this kit. So, a little bit of context. I have owned my V71 for almost a year now. I was lucky enough to be able to buy one shortly after Roland released it. And, right out of the gate, I love this module. I've been playing electronic drums for nearly 30 years, and I have owned a ton of modules. Anyway, back to the 71. So, I've owned this thing, and from day one, I've just been really blown away by how great it is. Now, that being said, would I say this is on par one-to-one versus a VST? No, I've said that in the past. Do I think it's better or closer to a VST than Roland has ever gotten? Yes, 100%. My perspective. Sound is subjective. I say that all the time. Over this past year, I've had so much fun with the 71 MIDI'd up to my 50X that, quite frankly, I really haven't used my VSTs all that much. And, that kind of changed. As always, you move on, and not that you get tired, but I'm always thinking, okay, what if? So under the what if scenario, I started to go back into my VSTs, I'd say over the last 2 months or so. And I find myself pretty much on a daily basis, I'll turn on the 71 and play the 71 by itself. And all of this is basically under the context of, is it time for me to sell off my 50X, and would I be happy with my 71 alone? Now, I've added a couple of sound packs to the 71 from Roland Cloud. Third-party sound packs don't exist as of the making of this video. And when they do, more than likely, depending upon what they are, I'll be looking at adding those as well to it, as I always have. So I'm running the 71 alone, and then I'm turning on both eDrummer and or Superior Drummer, and I'm playing around with that combination to see, well, what does this thing sound like? And I'll tell you, there are certain days I'll play it, and it sounds amazing. So much so that I'm thinking, okay, it's time to sell the 50X. And then for whatever reason, the very next day, I could turn on the same exact settings, and it just doesn't sound right to me. Now, when I say right, that's my ear. And I want to be 100% comfortable playing, and I also don't want to spend a ton of time getting sounds. I am a module guy. I consider myself a module guy, meaning I am very well versed in how to get sounds very quickly out of a module. I've been with modules for so long, it's that I call that home base. So, getting a 71 in tandem with the 50X, I can instantly, no matter which type of genre I'm going for, I can pull up a kit on a 71 and I can instantly know, hey, that would go well with one of these type of kits. And then I go into my 50X and I do sound editing there. What I'm trying to do, and what I've been doing lately, is doing that same thing, but doing it more with VST versus the 50X. So in the spirit of what if, I'll walk you through quickly what the sound examples are at the end of this video. There are 6 examples in that video. The first piece is the V71 all by itself. You can hear that. And the second part of it is I turn on the 50X, so you'll hear the 2 MIDI together. Then I do a third segment. It's a newer idea that I just came up with recently, and it's really kind of intriguing me. So what I do is I use the sliders on the front of the module, and I turn the ambience of the 50X up about 3 dB. What that does is of course, it adds dimension, it adds room, and the combination of whatever kit I have in the V71 together with the 50X with this added ambience, all of a sudden sounds to me a little bit closer to a VST, and it really kind of gave me one of those aha moments of saying, hey, this is really cool. Now, yeah, I'm using two very expensive modules, but this can be done with any two modules. As long as you have, MIDI in and out, you can set this up with any two modules you want. But I have been using two modules for many, many years. I've never used two flagships at the same time, and I got to tell you, this is like some other step out there. Anyway, little side note here. I got this tip quite a while back. I think I got it from Alan V Expression. I keep all of my sliders set at 0, right across the board. The reason I do that is because I keep my master volume on my module pretty much at the same point too. So whenever I dial kit to kit, if the next kit is out of whack in regards to sound, I go into the mixing settings, the mixer settings inside the module, and I do my adjusting there for that kit. If the cymbals are too loud, the toms aren't loud enough, etc., etc. I do all of that mixing on a per kit basis, so I don't have to ever worry about my sliders. I just leave them as is. So anyway, third test is that adding 3 dB of ambience. Try it. It's pretty cool. Next up, I then turn on the VSTs. So at this point, the 50X is off, and I'm solely focused on the 71. And for the sake of this video, I don't want to complicate it with saying, well, here's easy D3 and here's SD3, etc., etc. I chose one kit on eDrummer 3, and the fourth playing example is that kit that I chose by itself, nothing else. Local control on the 71 is off. You're only hearing eDrummer 3 in all its glory. Sounds great. Then the next level is I turn local control on my V71 on. Now, a lot of guys would say, oh, why do you do that? And there are a couple of reasons. First of all, to me, that's how I've been running VSTs for the last couple of years. To me, it just sounds good. I get the best of both worlds. I get my module and I get VST. I'm running EZD at 64 samples and a 1.5 millisecond buffer. So, from a settings perspective, it's pretty darn good. And I can't really hear latency. I can feel it. And, you would say, well, it's milliseconds. How could you possibly feel it? I can. Again, I'm used to playing acoustic drums. So, the module, of course, it also has latency, albeit virtually none that you can detect. So to me, the module is instantaneous, and the VST has that ever so slight feel of latency, lag. And I think the two together is pretty much, to me, sort of the same thing of having the 71 MIDI to the 50X. I'm getting the best of both worlds. I'm getting the realism out of the VST, and I'm getting the punch and the sound I want quickly out of the module. So that's test number 5 on the video that's upcoming. The last part is another interesting new test, and again, one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video. So what I thought about doing is, hey, wait a minute, if I like some of the kit but I don't like some of it, what if I left the V71 as is, local control on, I went to the same kit in EZD, and I went to the mixer tab inside of EZD, and what I did was I muted all of the mics except for the snare, the kick, the ride, and the hat, especially the hats. Pay attention to the hats, because to me, using digital hats and using the V71 with a VST, the hats are just spectacular. They play and they sound like nothing I've ever done. I mean, the digital hats are on another platform. You add the VST in it, and the playability is just unbelievable. It's so close to being a real hi-hat. Anyway, I mute off all those sounds, being careful, overheads, room, crunch, all of that. So I really only have the 4 close mics. Well, it's actually more than that because they'll mic snare top and bottom, kick in and out, etc. Anyway, you'll hear in the 6th clip here, you'll hear that combination. The interesting thing to listen to is this is where I think you'll hear the V71 truly shine, because you have a V71, you'll hear clearly the toms, the crashes, etc. And that's coming only from the V71, but the other parts of the kit, snare, hat, ride, kick, are blended, both the 71 and EZD. Anyway, those are the tests. I'm going to stop yapping and the playing part's going to pop up. So as always, thanks for watching. Any comments or questions, pop it down below. I'll do my best to get back to you. Have a great day. See you later.